even though we have this pandemic going on, lawyers are still doing their job, and organizations like law advocates are there to help people navigate through this.
Today we're going to be talking on the program about legal resources available to people in our community and some of the implications on the legal system here in Whatcom County that people are seeing because of COVID-19. We have Michael Heatherly from Law Advocates. He's the executive director there, as well as Lisa Keeler from Carmichael Clark. And welcome everyone. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
It's good to be here, Josh. Thanks.
So if you guys could both give just a quick snapshot, let's start with you, Michael, with Law Advocates. Tell us a little bit about what your organization does and some of the things that you're doing in the community right now.
We are the volunteer lawyer program for Whatcom County, and we also oversee the volunteer lawyer program of Island County. We were established in 1987, and essentially what we do is we help provide low-income households and individuals with civil legal assistance, and we do that partly through our own, we have a staff attorney, and we do in-house clinics, and then we also harness the energy and the expertise of all of the lawyers, the private attorneys in the county who volunteer their services.
Awesome. And then Lisa, let's hear from you.
Yeah, so again, my name is Lisa Keeler, and I'm an attorney at the law firm based in Bellingham called Carmichael Clark. We have been in Whatcom County in some form since 1914. We provide all sorts of different legal services, litigation work, unemployment, law assistance, real estate transactions, kind of a whole slew of things. A lot of what I do is insurance defense work, but also employment law advising, both for employees and employers.
All right, so let's talk about some of the legal challenges that are happening right now in our community. Can you describe what the legal system is going through during this period?
Well, one problem is that especially the civil legal system is barely operating at all. The courthouse is, for the most part, closed down. So a lot of the types of things that our clients need help with are not actually happening in the courts right now. A lot of people are really in limbo, and probably the biggest example would be evictions. There's a statewide moratorium on evictions right now. So landlords cannot take legal action to evict people right now, even if they're not paying their rent. But that's going to end at some point within the next month or two, probably. And as soon as that happens, there's going to be 3 or 4 months worth of potential evictions that will be filed. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to need to know what to do. This is an unprecedented situation because there are going to be people who have 3 or 4 months of rent that they may owe, money that they don't have. And on the other side, there are going to be landlords who are going to need to decide what to do. Do they evict people? That may not be the best thing for them to do, but maybe they have no choice. So we're expecting over the summer to have pretty much an avalanche of eviction issues where people are being evicted or they're trying to negotiate with their landlord to not be evicted. There are going to also be other kinds of debts that people are going to have. So we're expecting that it's going to be a lot of work in the coming months. And at the same time, we, like everyone else, are limited in what we can do. Traditionally, we have in-person clinics and we have office hours where people come in and we meet face-to-face with them. And for now, we can't do that. We don't know when that might resume.
So what options are available for people right now? Like how are you getting past the not being able to meet in person with clients?
We are providing our services virtually, which for the most part means by telephone. So we do have a staff attorney who is available and still does his office hours, although he does them by phone. And he is still staying busy with people where we can help them by telephone. The things that we would be doing in court, we're not able to do anyway. So we can give advice to people still or give them other resources to contact. Give them ideas of what their next steps will be. We can do that by phone or by email or by regular mail. So we are continuing to do that. We also, one of our biggest programs for the past almost 30 years has been called Street Law, where it was a drop-in clinic at the Bellingham Public Library, and we would have 3 attorneys and some non-attorney volunteers who would help anyone who came in with any kind of civil legal question they had. And we'd either directly answer the question if we could, or refer them to one of our other programs if that was appropriate. And we have just as of May 2nd, we've started doing that virtually every other Saturday afternoon or so. We are offering the same service, but people have to contact us ahead of time, and then we will arrange to have an attorney call them during an appointed time on a Saturday afternoon and give as much advice and help to them as they can that way.
How about you, Lisa? What are you saying if we go back to sort of the legal implications of this?
Yeah, and so the courts are still open in that they're able to conduct some business and are allowing some hearings to move forward. So as an attorney, I'm now able to file things electronically. I can work with my clients to get certain hearings heard. So we're able to kind of slowly move along certain cases, but no trials can happen right now. Whatcom County Superior Court has limited hours for people who are representing themselves to physically go into the courthouse. Can also still, file by mail, but they just have morning hours each weekday. And then, other hearings that can happen are all happening electronically. So mostly, again, by telephone. So if people have like parking tickets or traffic tickets or things like that, the best thing to do is call the courthouse you're dealing with, whether it's, Bellingham Municipal Court or Ferndale or Linden, because there might still be ways that some things are getting heard, or to get clarification on when your case has been kind of moved out into the future because of all this. There are resources and legal needs that people absolutely have to have heard when they happen. So for example, if someone needs a protection order, like because of a domestic violence situation, those cases can still move forward, at least in the initial stages, to try to get some protections in place. Unemployment hearings are definitely happening. And those have always been telephonic. But the bottom line is, if something needs to get done, there are ways to still make the urgent hearings happen.
Is there a place where people can go to find more information about what their options are for different cases or different situations that they're in?
Yeah, so one of the things that I did, because I do a lot of business law and employment law, is at carmichaelclark.com/news. Most of our blogs that we post regularly lately have been all about the pandemic. And there's one in particular I did with resources for workers and businesses that have a number of links about how to get some basic information, say about the CARES Act or about programming, or what some of the unemployment changes have been. Another great resource for unemployment issues on the worker side is the Unemployment Law Project, which is unemploymentlawproject.org. And they are a pro bono service provider, just like law advocates, and people can get help from them if they need to appeal a hearing. Say on the protection order side, DVSAS, which is dvsas.org, is the local organization who can kind of help people work to survive domestic violence, and see if there's a way to get a temporary protection order in the interim right now.
There's a statewide, what amounts to a clearinghouse telephone hotline that anyone can call with any kind of civil legal question. It's called Clear, CLEAR. The number is 1-888-201-1014. It's a really busy service. Keep calling that number. And eventually you probably will be able to talk to Clear's own attorneys who will at least get you started. And then if it's something that our organization would be able to help with, they will refer you to us. If it's something that like the Unemployment Law Project or some other organization would help with, they will direct you to them. Our website has all of our information about our programs, and that's at www.lawadvocates.org. And there's all of our contact information is on that website, as well as some descriptions of our programs that we do. And even though we're not doing all the clinics the way that we normally do, most of those services we can provide. If somebody calls us and it's a matter of we'll get back to them, and our attorneys or other people will help them by phone, most likely.
Another great resource for self-help is WashingtonLawHelp.org. And it just has some really great basic information about, how to do your own will or advance directive really quick if you need to do that right now and can't get help, or what to do about what does eviction mean and how would you navigate that process, even before you talk to a lawyer or while you're talking to a lawyer, just to get some sense of what all of that means.
We will be doing another street law on Saturday, May 23rd. So if someone has a question for that and would be available to talk by phone that day, they can call our office at 360-671-6079, extension 15. And if you leave a message there, our assistant will get back to you and arrange for you, if it's appropriate for street law, arrange for you and give you the instructions on how to talk to an attorney on that day. We also, for unemployment questions, we will be doing a webinar on May 26th at 5:30 p.m. And we'll have some employment law attorneys who are volunteering their time to give general information about unemployment benefits, leave, like family leave, medical leave, and other issues that people are having if they're unemployed now or underemployed or concerned about it. They'll be giving information on that. We will be publicizing that further and giving instructions on how to join that.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for sharing all those. So during this time, you mentioned evictions, is going to be a big thing, unemployment. Are there other areas of concern for kind of legal action that will be taken after the pandemic sort of dies down a little bit and people resume normal life?
Sadly, when you have people shut up in their homes, you have an increase in domestic violence. Unfortunately, if that was already an issue, then having people who can't leave the house for weeks at a time makes that only worse. So we expect to see probably more people who are going to need protection from domestic violence. There's going to be debt and medical debt, so people who've needed medical treatment, and it's going to be compounded if the people are now unemployed and they had their health insurance through their employment. So there are going to be more people who are lacking health insurance, and then just consumer debt. Probably quite a few people are living on credit cards right now. And in the next few months, they're going to need help either maybe negotiating those debts with the creditors or getting advice on whether they need to file bankruptcy, which sometimes is and sometimes isn't the right thing to do. I would expect there are going to be a lot of people with questions like that in the coming weeks and months.
And another thing to keep in mind too is all of what we've talked about so far is mostly civil law, essentially non-criminal. So there's a whole nother set of cases and legal issues that courthouses deal with on the criminal law side. So there are individuals who have been awaiting trial, and jury trials have not been happening. And there are a number of cases that have not even been filed yet. And so one of the things that we'll see on the civil side is that criminal cases take priority, especially when you have people who have been accused of crimes and are in custody, in jail, waiting for hearings. One of the things that will also happen is a lot of those criminal cases will be taking up a lot of the court's time. And so it might be some time before some of these civil cases can get pushed all the way through and people can actually have their full day in court, as opposed to, preliminary hearings that'll need to happen initially.
Things where there normally would have been hearings going on this whole time to help kind of whittle down the issues and settle some of the issues that have not been happening. So there's going to be a huge number of people out there who have cases already in litigation who are in limbo and who may be running out of money and wondering what's going to happen next.
I think the important thing to remember is, even though we have this pandemic going on, lawyers are still doing their job to provide service to clients, and organizations like law advocates, again, are there to help people navigate through this. Just as people have been frustrated in trying to get, say, unemployment because there have been such a flood of cases, that will be true everywhere else. And so patience and persistence are really important, but also just just to remember that, there are people out there who are available and willing to help.
The state of Washington has made some funds available from an emergency fund to help in some of these areas with legal issues, the ones that they know are coming. So there is a pretty significant amount of money that's being added to the system on the couple of the areas we've talked about, unemployment benefits and evictions. There's an infusion of money that is coming in that will make more attorneys available, more attorney hours available in those areas over the next year.
If you could leave people who are watching this with one thing, what would you want them to take away?
There is help out there to navigate the legal system. The legal system is still working. There will be ways to work through all of this and to come out on the other side.
It's frustrating right now, but people should not think that they should not give up or think, oh, well, I'm there's nothing I can do, because over the next year, there will be more resources available. Things are going to be tough, but we are learning how to do things like how to provide the services remotely. And this is going to be a permanent change in the system. And I think overall, it's going to be for the better.
Thanks again for the work that you're doing in the community through these programs and trying to help people out that need it the most. So again, thanks for being here.
Great. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah, thank you, Josh, for putting this out there.
Hey, we hope you enjoyed watching this episode of Bellingham Now. To see all of our episodes, go to BellinghamTonightShow.com. New content is added daily, so make sure you subscribe for updates. Thanks for watching.